Hey, what is going on guys? My name is EndingGamertag and I'm back for your daily Fortnite video. Now in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys how you can improve in Fortnite Battle Royale, or in other words, get better at the game. So if you guys are going to enjoy the video and or find it helpful, I would appreciate a like down below. And on the contrary, if you genuinely dislike today's video, feel free to leave a dislike. And I'd also appreciate a comment with that, letting me know what I can improve on for future videos to make them more enjoyable for you. And also if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, then feel free to subscribe as well as turning on those post notifications. With that out of the way, let's hop right into today's video. So as mentioned in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how you can in fact improve in Fortnite, or just in general get better at the game. Now obviously this is going to help you regardless of what kind of player you are. So if you're someone that's brand new to the game, or kind of like a noob, or just not good at the game in general, this video will definitely help you. Now if you're someone who's mediocre at the game and you consider yourself to be average or somewhere around the middle, this video will help you as well. And lastly, if you're someone who can replicate a pro player's sort of game style, then this video is going to help you. Basically every single player in Fortnite Battle Royale in the entire world has room for improvement. So obviously if there's room for improvement, then the best thing to do is to improve in the game. Different things are constantly changing in the game, there's new waves, and just basically you have to learn to adapt and again improve in the game. Now there's a lot of aspects on what people will consider a good player to be. Some people might consider a good player as someone who gets a lot of wins or has a high win percentage, and they don't really have any kind of regards for eliminations. Obviously a different group of people might consider a good player someone who can drop 20 plus eliminations pretty consistently. And then you could also consider someone that's good at the game if they can build fast or edit fast, or has high awareness. There's a lot of different aspects that play into part in being a good player. So this video is not going to focus on each specific one, but more or less all of them in general, and kind of again the general idea of a good player, how to become a good player, how to get better, and again of course how to improve. And these are all methods that basically I use, as well as I've heard basically a lot of pro players and content creators using to get better at the game and improving. All of these are going to be very important. I'm going to leave out any of these different methods that I share with you guys. Obviously the best case scenario is if you kind of put all these into effect. You're going to see such a huge improvement and seeing yourself get just way better in general. Now the first thing I'm going to be talking about is awareness. This is basically being aware of your surroundings, being aware of basically everything that's going on. And the reason awareness is very important is because again, you have a general idea of where everyone is and what's going on. It's going to lower the probability of you just getting eliminated out of nowhere, like getting shot in the back. Of course, that's a very frustrating way to get eliminated in the game, and obviously with a high awareness, that'll again lower the probability of that happening. Now awareness is something that you kind of learn with practice. I can't just say do this, do that, and then this, and then that's how you have awareness. Again, it's more or less practice and something that comes naturally with people. However, a tip that I can give you guys for awareness is to have high ground at pretty much 90% of the time that you're playing, or at least majority of the time throughout the game. And the reason high ground is important is because you can see basically everything that is taking place. You can see people from every direction, and you know no one's going to come from like above you or anything like that, because again, you have high ground. And high ground is one of the most advantageous points in Fortnite Battle Royale, and this is completely inarguable. And one of the reasons it's very important and so advantageous is the awareness that comes with it. So what I'm referring to when I say high ground. Now some people might think of building a 1x1 tower and looking down on people. Now this could actually be the case. However, I would never recommend doing this unless of course you have gliders in your inventory. This way if it gets destroyed, then you have an escape route. So of course we all know where the next circle is going to be simply by looking on the map, and if you see that there's a hill or a mountain that's located in the circle, you want to position yourself up here, because once again you can see everything that's happening below you, and the awareness is just going to be so much better than everyone else. Obviously if you're in a 1x1 that's built high, or if you're on a hill and you're looking down on someone and you're taking shots at them, they're not going to see it coming. It's going to be completely unexpected. Whereas if you're on the ground and you can't really see if a player's on the hill or not, you're going to be the one that's getting the shots shot at you, and of course your awareness is going to be very low. So the best way you can increase awareness once again is to have high ground. Now the next method is probably what I would consider to be the absolute best method in improving in Fortnite Battle Royale, and anyone and everyone that I've shared this kind of information with or method with has always seen such a huge increase in improvement, or just gameplay in general, whether that be winning more games or just getting more eliminations or anything along those lines. It's just a great way to basically get practice. And The reason I bring up practice is because we all know the metaphor practice makes perfect. However, in a battle royale game, which is like an RNG game, there's literally no form of perfection in the game whatsoever. Of course, everyone's going to make mistakes and everyone's going to have errors and obviously not win every game they get in. That's just a general given. However, we can see huge improvements with practice. Now, anytime that I mention this, I always bring up this sort of rhetorical question. I ask someone, if you're in one game and you get in 20 engagements, is that going to be more practice than if you're in the same game but you only get in one engagement? Obviously, we all know the answer. 20 engagements is going to be more practice. And basically, when I refer to an engagement, I'm meaning basically like a 1v1 or battling against someone. So the way to get in more engagements is to simply play more aggressive and not be as passive. Now, I understand that passive is a very common game style that is played throughout Fortnite Battle Royale. And I completely understand it because at one time I was playing very passively, where I would look into a game, I would get a mediocre inventory, then I hide in a bush or hide in a tree or like a building or such, and that's how I played my games. However, there's a point, kind of like a breaking point that I had, where I realized in order to get better, I need to get in more engagements. So then I completely started playing like ridiculously aggressive, and that's basically where I went from a noob to a very good player in literally about like a day of playing. So what I'd recommend doing is going to a public matches or even an arena match, landing tilted towers or salty springs. Those are the only two locations I'd recommend, and then pushing literally everyone you see, regardless of your health or what weapons you have. Just push everyone you see. You're going to get in so many different scenarios and learn how to counter different game styles, and there's just so many benefits come into playing aggressively. I'd say I'd recommend doing this for like a full day of playing games. Basically every game you get into for one day, land either tilted towers or salty springs, and play completely aggressively, push everyone you'll see, and believe it or not, you'll start to win a lot more engagements than you'd originally think. And again, I understand the passive aggressive sort of game style. It seems logical to think that if you get in less engagements, you have a lower probability of getting eliminated, meaning you'll more than likely win those games. However, there's more factors that play into winning games, such as your inventory, having more materials than the other player, having more health and such, and all of these comes with getting higher eliminations. So playing very aggressively is going to allow you guys to get not only more eliminations and win more games, but it's going to give you also those minor aspects such as more materials, better inventory and such, as you of course are picking up this stuff from people you're eliminating. So again, playing aggressively is such a huge turning point from taking someone from a noob and putting them to like a pro level of game style. So get over your nerves, basically get over that mental barrier, go into these games and use the method I just shared with you guys. Play as aggressively as possible and you'll see that you'll go from getting like 1 or 2 eliminations per game to getting like 12 or 15 eliminations per game and winning a lot of these games. So this is what I consider to be the biggest and most important aspect or factor or method even on how to improve in Fortnite Battle Royale and get better. Now the next thing that I want to talk about is settings, and this is very important because you can take a pro player that is very good at the game, someone like Tfue, and completely change their settings drastically, and they're not going to even play too close up to par than what they originally had played. They'd honestly probably end up losing most of their engagements that they get into because those settings are not optimized for them. So we need to learn how to optimize our settings. Now I uploaded a video on my channel yesterday showing you guys the best settings for controller Fortnite. So definitely check that out. It'll show you guys how to optimize your settings and the best settings to be using, and obviously to basically get good at the game. So definitely check that out if you guys are looking to have the perfect settings on controller Fortnite. But again, optimizing your settings is very important. Now I don't want to get too deep into this because this could be like a whole 10-minute video, which basically I'll put into yesterday's video. So if you really focus on settings, then check out yesterday's video. I go really in-depth and detailed and sharing you guys my settings and things like that. But settings is important in becoming a good player. Once again, you could take someone who's really good at the game and drastically change their settings and they're just going to do completely awful. So getting comfortable with your settings, not overdoing it to the point where you're out of control with your aim and accuracy and such, is going to be very important. So again, optimizing your settings will allow you to get better in the game. And this not only goes for sensitivity, but it also goes for like keybinds and such. Keybinds are very important for editing and building and general comfort throughout the game. And my keybinds are very odd and unique, which I once again shared in yesterday's video. Now the last method I'm going to be sharing with you guys is something that is actually very important and a critical thing that I do before I play any Fortnite Battle Royale. And this is going to be like a mental kind of thing because mentality in Fortnite is probably the most important thing to becoming a good player. And this that I recommend is probably something you haven't heard before. It might seem a little bit unordinary, but trust me, this is extremely helpful. Now what I'm referring to is watching other people play on YouTube or Twitch and things like that. Just watching other content creators that are really good at the game and then going to Fortnite, because you'll kind of naturally like replicate their game style. So a YouTuber that I watch before I play any Fortnite is called Sharp. So look up Sharp Fortnite on YouTube, and I'm not like sponsored or even asked for a shout out. In fact, I've never even talked to him before, but he's a YouTuber that I watch before I play Fortnite, and my game style and gameplay is just ridiculously so much better than when I don't watch his gameplay. And once again, you want to watch someone that is good at the game. So someone who's getting at least double-digit eliminations, like 10 plus eliminations in a game. Because if you're watching someone that's doing terrible and like dying consistently, you're going to see how they played and kind of just naturally replicate it. It's kind of like something your body or mind does on its own. So when you're watching good players that are very good at the game, whether that be a pro player or one of your favorite content creators that is just decent at the game, when you load into Fortnite, you naturally replicate their game style. So obviously if that's the case, you'd probably rather watch someone who does very good at the game opposed to someone who's not. So whether you want to watch me, I definitely don't think I'm one of the best players, or if you want to watch someone like Ghost X or Ghost Aiden or Faye Sway, any of those players I'd recommend watching before you get into Fortnite. And trust me, again, it seems very unordinary and I completely understand why, but I'd recommend doing it before you go on to play another game of Fortnite. Watch maybe a few 10-minute videos from those content creators, then hop into a game and you'll see the improvement. It's literally almost unbelievable how this even plays a part into improving in Fortnite, but it does help. So those are all the methods that I wanted to share with you guys in today's video. Once again, I want you to compile all of these into the next time that you play, and you will see such a huge improvement. I literally guarantee it. So if you guys enjoyed today's video or found it helpful, I would appreciate a like down below. Once again, on the contrary, if you genuinely disliked today's video, feel free to leave a dislike, and I would also appreciate a comment letting me know what I can improve on for future videos to make them more enjoyable for you. And if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, feel free to subscribe as well as turning on those post notifications. Anyways, my name is EndingGamertag. Thank you all for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.